Welcome, Lee.
You all right, mate? Yeah, looking forward to this. Getting a bit of grilling. Missed that risk for roads there. But yeah, no, looking forward to the questions you've got for us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing nothing and just sitting back and listening.
Is that right? Look, I'm a Geordie. We can waffle all day long. We'll be here for hours if I start talking. But yeah, no, it'll be good.
Yeah, we'll get to the end and they'll be like, "Is that your show or was that Lee's?"
Yeah, no, look, that's the Geordie way. We talk to everybody and we wear our heart on our sleeves. So look, take or leave, we're in it.
Right. So, Lee, we're going to go straight to it. Obviously, you put up selections during the week or on the weekend, big festivals. So, how did you get into racing? Where can people find you? And what do you like? Jumps, flat?
Oh, look, it's quite a controversial question, isn't it? The flat or the jumps. I am a jumps man. I fell in love with Cheltenham when I was a kid and just kind of flowed from there. I used to run home, run to my nana's house when Cheltenham was on, when it was a 3 day meeting back in the day. And yeah, just fell in love with
Jesus,
it.
you're old, aren't you?
No, I am. I am. People keep asking us my age. I'm 30 something, and I just
Yeah, sure.
I remember the days like of Moscow Flyer and stuff, and them type of horses really set it alight for the passion that I have for the racing. So I actually just live on the other side of Newcastle racetrack. I can see the race course from my window. So it's just something I've always fell in love with. Me whole family are basically Newcastle United fans, would bleed black and white type of thing. But I'm the only one who kind of has that passion now for racing. A couple of me uncles like it, and it was mainly my granddad who got us into the racing. And yeah, look, I absolutely love it. But I am a National Hunt fan, as they say. I know it's always controversial on Twitter, and people say, you don't have to choose a side, but I can't help it. I do love National Hunt.
But why? Why do you like National Hunt over flat?
I don't know. I just look at that. The longer races, you kind of get more time to get into them, and I think the longevity of a horse as well. Look, Cato Stars and stuff like that. They go for a long time. Like so, Fauchine, like winning it, his age, and then still having a chance in, races at the festival. Like you get to love them a bit more and a bit more time to see them. Some seasons you could have on the flat, a horse could be gone within one season. They've off the breeding and stuff like that. Whereas National Hunt, I don't know, you just kind of get to fall in love with them a bit more. And I love hurdles more, to be honest. I'm a more hurdle than a chaser kind of thing. I'd probably, if I was a horse, I'd be in a National Hunt chase, probably a big brute of a horse. But I do like them quick 2 milers. I absolutely love the fighting fifth up at Newcastle and the Christmas hurdle and of course the champion hurdle and the likes of a Supreme. Them are my type of horses. And you've got something to build
Have you
on as
got
well.
have you got a
Going forward.
favourite?
Favorite?
Have you got a favourite of all time?
Oh, actually, so I was thinking about this the other day, and this is showing my age because it was back in the day, and it's Edredon Bleu. Not many people might, know it if you're a bit younger, but won a champion chase for McCoy. It was in the Jim Lewis colours of Best Mate. Henrietta and I trained and beat Direct Route, I think it was. And I remember Flagship Umberales was in third. I think he won a couple of Tingle Creeks and stuff along the way, but he was a cracking horse. But yeah, Edredon Bleu, and the crowd was cheering and they're neck and neck. And if anybody gets a chance to watch Simon Holt's commentary, it was a bit like Jerry Hannon. He lost his voice, and it's one to watch. So Edredon Bleu winning the champion chase, I think he was a real favourite of mine and kind of got me going into racing, I would have said.
So me and 90% of the other young viewers are thinking, let's get on YouTube and have a look at this.
You're the same age
So
as me, Pete. Don't start. Don't start.
no, I know, but it's still I was late to racing though. To be fair,
All
I
right.
was only I probably only my first days were probably about 12 years. Like Sprinter Sacra was the early days for me. Q cards,
Really?
bumper. Yeah. That's
I
like
went.
my first Cheltenham was 2011.
Well, I think that's the first time I went to Cheltenham. I've been going, yeah, whatever, 12 or 13 year, whatever ball. bar COVID where everyone didn't get to go. But apart from that, I think it was that year. Yes, when it Alfaroff won the Supreme, it was, and he beat Spirit's Son and he beat Sprinter Sacra and Q Card. Now I think that's one of the greatest Supremes going. Like them in behind
it's the greatest Supreme I've seen.
Oh, it was amazing. And actually, funny enough, that was one of my best bets I've had. I managed to get 310 to 1 on the exchanges about Alfaroff. Wasn't due to win the go into the race. I think it had picked up an injury or something, and I just remember Ruby Walsh saying, "You need a steer to win a Supreme," and they were debating whether to go up and trip, but it went off 10 to 1 and it come past them, and the roof come off. So I think that was one.
He still uses that line. He still uses that line now, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, and
he refers
agree.
back to
I think you need a proper national hunt horse for a Supreme. I think sometimes it works in the favour in a Ballymore to have that quicker horse, and I prefer a party national hunt that would stay in a Supreme. That's my view of it anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, look at Sprinter Sacra. Obviously, he finished third or fourth. I think I think he was third that day. And obviously, and then you look at him over 2 mile over chase, and you're like, "There's no way he's getting a yard over 2 miles. He's so fast." But it's just that hurdle, like you say, the Supreme. It's not a test of speed; it's that stamina at the end.
Yeah, well, that's what I remember. So the next year on, actually, it was probably my best week I've ever had. Money wise, I done well, and I went for the full week. For the first time in it was the year Champagne Fever beat My Tent or Yours, and it was the stamina that won the day. Then I had 16 to 1 about My Tent or Yours, and I think he went off 6 to 4. The whole course was covered in black sheets. They didn't know whether they were going to race, and the snow had got in and stuff, and they chose to go Champagne Fever for the Supreme, and Ruby rode a cracker and just stayed on best. And
off the boards, wasn't he?
That's what won the day. Look, it was just that grinding and grinding. I would have said he had that bit more stamina and ended up battling him out. To be fair, so some great memories at Cheltenham though.
Well, and the fact they have Ruby Walsh. Do you think there's been a jockey anywhere near Ruby's level last 20 years?
Not for me, and especially at the festival. You look at McCoy as well. He was relentless, had all them winners, but he didn't have the same record when it come to the festival. I think, especially at the festival, Ruby was different class, but I just think he has that racing mind where, look, he was born in it, instilled in it, wasn't he? And even he was a young lad winning on Papillon in the national, and then just ever since he just knew the game, and look, Ruby cheering it at Cheltenham. It's just it gives you tingles when he was coming home on a favourite and everybody's cheering and the papers out in the air and stuff. Yeah, I loved it.
Those Ruby Tuesdays.
Ruby Tuesdays, that's right. Yeah,
we're lucky he's still even in the game now. Like, you just listen to him and the way he talks and everyone listens. It's just you can start to process the way he is on a horse and the way he used to do things. And you're like, you'd still pick him to ride over plenty of jockeys now, even at his age and obviously his physical attributes.
I think I'm a bit old school. Like I like the Barry Geraghties and the Davy Russells and the Rubies. I just think they were different class, and look, they're plenty knowledgeable, but like they rode in a different race, and like Alexa Davy is like a gung ho. He never say die, right? You know what I mean? They give them all. I think the likes of Sam Twist and Davies is probably in their same mould and a Sean Boehm, whereas Harry Cobden maybe has a different way, but still has like a top way of doing it. It's just what you prefer, I suppose. But I do like the old boys, I would have said, in that regards.
But I think it's easy as well. It's easy to forget. You remember all those jockeys you're talking about now, and in this sort of era, they're all young lads. So in like 10, 15 years, they're only going to get better and better. Like Sam Twist and Davies might not ride anything like that in 10 years' time. So it's the fact we just had such a good old guard going all the way through, and you've just lost them all in like this. Even Richard Johnson, all in the space of like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So all the young lads are still coming up, and there's not been too many in between that are taking those places yet.
Yeah, I think we're missing the gap, and it's the young lads. They've got to kick on now, and look, there's plenty of them coming through, and on flat iron jumps, and yeah, it'd be good to see how they develop.
So, two big questions, Lee.
Let's
Newcastle
go.
or Cheltenham, and for a night out, and for obviously the racing, what is your favourite track? Or is it neither? Or is it neither?
That's like, choosing between your favorite kids. Look,
All the Geordies are going to disown you.
yeah, no, look, Newcastle, I absolutely love it. There's no place like Newcastle for a night out. So look, Cheltenham is scrapped off that. Newcastle for a night out, you cannot beat. You have the top class races. I would have said, look, I love a Northumberland play on the flat, but the Fighting Fifth is a top class race, and we've got a really good racetrack at Newcastle. But the festival at Cheltenham is like no other. Like, it's the place that dreams are made and broke as well. And when I first went into the track, like my eyes just lit up. It's just a magical place, and if anybody gets the chance to go to the festival, please take it, because it's like no other for me. And people say, oh, people harp on about Cheltenham a lot. I think it's different gravy. I really do, and it would be Cheltenham the track for me. But I do love my beloved Newcastle, I have to say.
Is that all year round or just the jumps?
For Newcastle?
Yeah, yeah.
See, look, I'm a Geordie. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I'll be honest, like I suffer badly from a lot of stuff like anxiety and stuff, and it's just a place that I love to go because it chills us out. That's like the reason I love racing so much is because it takes us maybe to a different place, whereas I'm not then thinking about bills or thinking about home or thinking about troubles. I can just go, sit, relax, and watch the racing. And when I'm at Newcastle, I was just there on Monday. I was at Central on Tuesday. I was there Friday at Newcastle. They were all weather, and I can just go chill with my pals, or even sometimes I go on my own just to relax, watch the racing, and just take a chill, really. So look, I love racing all year round. It's a good track for the all weather, under the floodlights, and they have a lot of events on, like a bonfire at night and kids events and stuff. It's a great track, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially the going racing. Like people worry. You see people on Twitter saying, "Oh, I'd like to go here, but I haven't got any." Like, I'd never worry about not going on your own and stuff like that. It's at the end of the day, it's like going anywhere. It's like going to see something like an exhibition or to going up the Eiffel Tower or whatever. Some of these race courses are spectacular.
I think, look, people like, probably me brother and stuff will laugh at this because I'll go on a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of winter when it's frostbitten, and I'll go and sit by myself. I'm not bothered about stuff like that. I just love the racing so much. I'll go to the pre-parade ring. I'll go around to the ring and watch the horses go around, and then get me position wherever it may be. And I have different spots at different tracks where I like to watch them.
Yeah, everyone does. The
Yeah,
lucky
especially
spot.
Cheltenham. Cheltenham is like,
Yeah.
people have that place, and I like to watch. Funny enough, I like to watch different races in different places at Cheltenham, and I
No,
always
that
watch
makes sense.
the Supreme. I watch in the club in the main bit, right in the middle, and sometimes Willie Mullins is next to us and stuff like that. And I like to be in the centre there, and I like to get down to the front for the Arkle and watch them jump in and stuff like that, and just past the Guinness tent, and yeah, different places. And sometimes I do. Me and my friends will do three. Sometimes I'm in a hospitality on the Tuesday, but I
Oh,
normally do.
here we go.
I know, name dropping there,
Tough
but
life of a Geordie in the hospitality section of the
look,
festival.
if I get invited, I get invited. Simple as. But normally we do like 3 days in the club, and then sometimes we do the Thursday on the bar side in Best Mate, and it's a bit of a party zone if you like a bit of the music on and stuff like that. Like, I like to change things up, and especially the switch tracks from the Tuesday and Wednesday to Thursday and Friday on the far side. You get a better angle, of the finishes and stuff. So yeah, I like to mix it up, and yeah, love Cheltenham
Yeah,
though.
oh yeah, we've got all the lads. We've got the Sam Crow lucky spot where he won that Ballymore, and we were all stood on the steps. I'll never forget that. And also where I went with a different group of friends, they literally knew absolutely nothing about racing, and they were like, "Oh, who's going to win? Who's going to win this next race?" And I've been out and had a few beers, and obviously thinking overconfident, and I was thinking, "Oh, they won't like they're not going to go crazy." And I was like, "There's absolutely no way that Vitor doesn't win this race." And then obviously Vitor wins the Ryanair head in chest, comes back, and they're like, "You're a legend, you're the go, you're a hero, blah blah blah." They're like, "What are we on next?" I was like, exact same words. I was like, "There's no way that Thistlecrack doesn't win this next race." And it was obviously the
Yes.
stayers.
Yeah.
So everyone straight back in, straight back to the same spot. I have never seen queues like it. But then they all started coming back with like handfuls of money. And these are all lads that like just generally 50p on a football accumulator. And I was like, "Why have you got so much money?" They're like, "Because you said it was impossible to lose." And it was that day that I learned never ever talk like that to anyone. And they were just like,
Yes.
they're like, "Yeah." Like, and then obviously the night out, the day, and I've never seen anything like it at Cheltenham because the queues they were almost at the parade ring on the top deck from just where
I love it.
everyone was on the same things and collecting. And when he pinged the last,
Taking the boobies to the cleaners, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. Anyway, Lee, this is about you, not me. So
no,
I've got
go
another
ahead.
question for you, Lee. Right. So obviously you've got a big following on Twitter. You also obviously write with the lads on Only Fools and Horses. You do your trixies. What sort of bets? Obviously, people see what bets you put up, but what sort of bets do you like, as in yourself as a punter? Do you like to do like, as in, are you more aiming towards short prices? Do you like to do each way bets? Like just a little bit, or do you like doing multiples? Just whatever you sort of like to do, Lee.
Look, I think it's kind of a case of each to their own, to be honest. I personally, so look, me and the lads we do the Only Fools of Horses page. I do it with Harry and Ash, and we all have different styles of doing stuff, and that's what I like about racing, I suppose. We all have our different ways, and I personally, I like to cross all my bets. So even on a Saturday, we cover the ITV racing, and I'll cross them. I'll do a super Heinz each way. I do on me on the 7 races, and I'll do singles on them all as well. And I do different stakes on the singles, but I'm not a lucky 15 person. I'm more of a Yankee. I dodge the singles and just put different stakes on what I fancy, but I don't mind an each way bet either. Me and Ash are quite similar because we don't mind like a 5-1 each way horse to get our money back, whereas Harry, he's more.
You're the robbers, is what you mean.
He's what?
You get the balaclava out.
Yeah.
Like you put the balaclava out and go and get the each way 5-1 shots.
Each way thief. That's what me and Ash are. But whereas Harry likes to be, he gives us some stick for it, and he likes to go on the nose, and he doesn't think like 5-1s maybe should be each way play, but it's just each their own. I'd even go as low as 4-1. I know people like maybe crab it, but if you're getting 4 places, 4-1, you're losing coppers to get like sometimes 8 runner races. You're getting 4 places half the field just to get your money back. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather take the concession sometimes. It depends what race it is. And yeah, I do like to get stuck into some. And I'm an anti-post punter when it comes to the national hunt. When it comes to the flat, I'm not so much. We discussed this, and I did have an anti-post bet on Rassalian at Doncaster. Obviously, it went astray. I doubled up on the day and everything, and then he comes out and he bolts up. Luckily, we backed him in France there the other day, but it's rare that I would have an anti-post bet though on the flat. It's mainly the jumps, and I'm already knee deep, I would have said, into some bets or Cheltenham already. But I think look, there's plenty of people crab the anti-post market for Cheltenham, but if you don't get on and if you fancy one, get stuck into it. I don't mind it. People say, "Oh, well, we haven't even seen it jump yet." Well, that's the name of the game, I would have said, and especially anti-post wise, each to their own. But I like to get stuck in anyway.
So obviously, yeah, don't we all? So obviously, I don't want to go into like as in deep stakes, but would you say, well, obviously not a lot to compare it to, but would you say you're like a medium sort of punter, or when you fancy one, you do think, should I really like as in, I've really let loose, especially obviously I know the festival's a different ball game, but like say the King George, like all over the shop.
Yeah, look, I try to I'd get stuck into a King George and stuff, and I like the different bets. So I'll not name certain bookmakers, but you can get the ones to win Constitution Hill, for example, to win the fight in 5th, to win the champion hurdle. I like them type of bets, and I like them, to go unbeaten has to have 3 runs. Well, Constitution Hill now, we know he's going hurdling, fighting fifth, Christmas hurdle, and then Cheltenham and on Aintree is more likely. So he's only going to have them 4 runs. If he takes the fighting fifth, he's going to be long odds on. Probably same with the Christmas hurdle. There's going to be a handful of runners. Then you've got your ticket already into the champion hurdle. So I like them anti-post markets like that. And I look, I am a more than an average punter, I would have said, money wise. But like I say, it just depends on the day, I would have said.
Yeah, and also obviously how you react to it. Like it's not affecting you, as in you're not too high, too low. You get used to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I agree 100% with the whole to win on the day. A lot of people knock those markets; they're too short, etc. But I mean, if you think a horse is going to win at say 4-1, and you're getting that horse is going on, I don't know, novice chase debut, and it's 1-4 on, and the bookies are saying, "Oh, we'll give you 6-1 or 13-2." Like if you think it's going to win, you're getting more than the 1-4 if it's doubled up. I don't understand why people have got such a problem with it. You don't want to. You might want to not put the 1-4 shot on. Whereas you'll see every weekend on a Saturday morning, everyone will bang like 5 1-4 shots in their football accumulators and not bat an eyelid.
I'd rather skip back in that 1 to whatever it is. Even if it was even money, I'd think scrap that. I'd rather take the 7-1 about the horse going on to win at the festival or a different race. I'd rather do that way and scrap the bet on the day, really. So look, I think there's plenty of markets out there, and I think punters, apart from these affordability checks and all this shit, I think they've got the best concessions we could have online. I would have said these extra places and stuff like that, if you can get your money on, that is.
Yeah. So obviously we touched on Cheltenham. You said obviously you had a big winner like Belfroth and stuff. But is there any win that like really stands out? As in, maybe give us 2. Maybe one where it was a big price and you thought, yeah, okay, that's great. As in, like real landed a touch. And then one where you'd been backing for however long, whether it's a day or whether it's 3 months, where you're like, this is going to be brilliant if it wins. Like, as in, like a big one for you, a big pot.
Yeah. Well, actually, so that the year after the Alpharoff one, the first time I went for the week, and I got stuck in that week, and I had a cracking week actually. I had our Connor was probably my best bet, 16-1. I think he went off about 4s. I can't remember off the top of my head, but 16-1 about him. And look, I was dancing in the rain all day long there. It was absolutely lashing down. He come tanking there, Brian Cooper, and I thought, oh, here we go. And once he turned the bend, there was no other winner, and just all he had to jump the last to win, basically, as the saying goes. And he scooted up, and I was literally dancing in the rain. It was a good. I actually had it. I would have said, and look, I don't mind discussing bets, to be honest, but I had a 5-hour accumulator that week as well, and it was rolling on, and I thought I needed. And back in the day, then I didn't bet on the phone. I bet on the slips in the bookies, and I left them all at home. And I thought I needed Sir Deschamps, McCoy, Gigginstown, Willie Mullins for the Gold Cup. And I got back, and I remembered I had changed to Bobsworth, and it was a 5-hour for $5,000 I was waiting on, and I thought I needed Sir Deschamps, and I actually needed Bobsworth, and it won. So look, for a 5-hour, you can't go wrong with that. But I like to mix them accumulators up and try and get a little tasty bet up. And that was a good week. I remember I backed even begin with S, and I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a Paul Nicholls horse, and I think it won 33-1. And I couldn't stop backing winners that week. I wish I had another week like that. It was great. I ended up going with a tasty sum to Aintree, and I blew the lot. I was buying champagne and everything. And it was a few year back, and I was
at least it was on champagne.
Oh, I was going for it. I really went for it, but I come back skint after Aintree. But it was a good time anyway.
That's all we do it for: holidays, booze, and to enjoy it.
Yes.
So right then, Lee. What else have we got? So have you got anything this year? Like, as in, so say if I was to just, I don't know, or obviously we're on the subject of multiples, so I don't want you to give away all your bests or whatever, but maybe, I don't know, pick if you can. Obviously, I haven't actually prepped Lee for this, so maybe if you can pick a horse from, say, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or maybe 4 just that you have got on your radar. I know obviously it's not easy because I didn't send you
Yeah.
this question, so
Look, first of
drop
all,
you in
I
it.
think, and I had a bit of a beef with someone online actually about it. El Fabiolo, I think, is a really good bet. People might grab a 2-1 shot, but look, like we say, is if he comes and wins a couple now, he'll probably go Christmas or Dublin Racing Festival or whatever. The price is gone then, and I'm happy to take that 2-1. I think he's the best in. I think Enegamine is 10-year-old, and the age will catch up. I think things have went right for him. The rains come for the last 2 years. It kind of balloted out like the likes of an Edward Stone or something challenging him, and he's able to coast home. But at the end of last season, it punches down Cheltenham, so nearly got to him, and I just think Enekamine's probably on the downward, whereas El Fabiolo's got it all at his feet, and I think 2-1 is fair. One I'd watch out for is, I think it's Better Days Ahead. Sorry, it's off the top of my head, but I think it's Gigginstown horse, the mare for Gordon Elliott. I think I took around 16. I think she's clipped in a little bit for the mare's novices, but she's won a couple of bumpers, if I remember correct. And I think she won I think it was a Tatterstall's bumper at Fairy House meeting, I think it was, and she fairly bolted up then. And look, she'd be one I'd watch out for as well. I want to say she maybe is around 12s or something for the mare's novice now. Have you got that up on your screen? Have you?
Yeah, I was just looking through now. Yeah, so she was the one who beat Chapeau de Soleil, the big talking horse, obviously, of back in the day of Willie Mullins.
I just remember when she bolted up in one of the bumpers. I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry,
that was at Ferry House, and then she ran at obviously Cheltenham. It was a bit of a no-show in the champion bumper, but then again, plenty of horses are, and then they bounce back, don't they? I will find that one for you though, and see what price it's at.
Yeah, just think.
What else have you got for us while I'm looking?
Yeah, no, I think going on that stiff track on the Thursday, the new course, I think that'll suit her well. I think she's a strong steer, and especially bumper horses often turn out to be a good steer, as I would have said. And she won them really well. Stamina won the last day. She won by about four lengths or so, going away. So yeah, she'd be the one to watch in the mare's novice. And I think one that's went under the radar.
I think you're getting mixed up. Better Days Ahead's in all the
Is it Brighter Days Ahead, and maybe Brighter Days Ahead then?
Okay, go on, carry on. I'll keep looking.
It's the two of them are similar names.
Brighter Days Ahead. Yeah, Brighter Days Ahead. Mare's Novice Hurdle. Yeah, you're
Brighter
getting double
Days
figures.
Ahead, Mare's Novice. But that Better Days Ahead is one to watch actually as well. I think they both do okay this season, to be honest. But Brighter Days Ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, 2 for 2 in bumpers. One at Ferry House in April. So yeah. So Brightest Days Ahead, Mare's Novice, El Fabiolo Champion Chase. What else have you got for us? 2 more.
And I think look, I'll struggle to get 2 more. I can't think of that. But one I do think's probably went missed this season is Galamorso. I think she's got a chance to uphold her form and maybe get ahead of Lossiemouth this season. I was with Lossiemouth all last season, but I just think there's something telling us that she might struggle. Look, she might be a class apart, but I think Galamorso up to 2.5. She showed that back in O'Toole, I think it was, the back end of last season. So she stays well, and I think the 2.5 there. If you watch the Triumph back, she was the one who was staying on. She had a bit of a troubled passage, and she stayed on best just behind Lossiemouth, and I think she could bridge the gap, and I think she's value. I want to say 14s each way or whatever she is. She'd be the value for me, I would have said, in an each way market. So Galamorso for the mare's hurdle. And then what we got? Oh,
so you've got the youngsters, you've got Arkle, you've got the Arkle, Marsh, Brown Advisory.
Well, actually, look, one maybe for the Ballymore, I would have said would be Factor Fail. I think was unlucky in the champion bumper because it got a little bit of a bump. But look, Dream to Share won well, but Dream to Share was probably be one to dodge for me. I did see Jake Price mention the same thing, and I just don't think he'll do the same this year. I think maybe he gets swallowed up as the season goes on. Whereas I think Factor Fail for Willie has plenty of potential, and I think 2.5 would be his trip. He stayed strong in them bumpers, and yeah, Factor Fail maybe is at an each way price, but yeah, I would say El Fabriolo is probably my banker now if I had to choose an each way one. Galamorso and that Brighter Days Ahead, I think, has a good chance of going on well in hurdling. So that's the Mares Novice. So there's a few for you.
That's pretty good considering I give you 0 prep for it.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah,
yeah, no, it's good. So who? Right, let's go back. Obviously, everyone's excited about Cheltenham, but we've got another probably 5 months until Cheltenham comes up. So who are you? Like, firstly, we'll go with who are you most excited for, and also who is your pitch of one horse that a lot of people are talking about that you think is going to be a blowout. So you just think, I cannot have it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a really short price, but just one that not so much overhyped, but you just hear people say, "Oh, that'll win that. That'll win that."
I think that Dream to Share. I think I'm not so keen on it. Plenty of people are 92 favourite. I've seen it for the Supreme. I don't know if it's still. Yeah, that's very short. I would have said they just grab these bumper horses. They've won the champion bumper. Now it's a Supreme favourite. Like I think there's plenty of horses with potential in behind. Plenty of water under the bridge. I don't know what is there for my selection for the race if I had to choose one now, but I just think, as the season goes on, it might get swallowed up and not be, that Supreme horse. I would have said, I think it's because it's more flatbred, that one, isn't it? And I just think these national hunt, like I was saying earlier on, I want a bit more stamina and a bit more the national hunt side of it for a Supreme horse for me. And yeah, a Dream to Share. Probably I'll have egg on my face come the Supreme, but
I was going to say, have you seen it's entered up next week?
I'd seen Road to Cheltenham. Alex has posted there. And next week. So look, it'll probably go and win like that at least, and then a couple more maybe. But I just think come the festivals, I think he'd be one I'd take on.
Yeah, no, I see what your point is. You're not saying he's not going to win hurdle races. It's just
no, he'll win stuff, but there's plenty in there. You always kind of get a Supreme horse, a token horse, like a
Massar Vega or a Kilcrook, who have both been the same sort of price the last 2 years. The champion punter.
There's a Min in there, but then like you've got like a Fly in the Ointment or an
Altior.
like Get a Bird or whatever it was and stuff like that. Like there's always them horses where they go off shorter than they probably should, and there's plenty in behind that could challenge. So just look, it might win next week. I think it's Wednesday at Punchestown, isn't it?
Oh, no doubt. I don't know what it's racing against, but I'm sure it'll win at least its first few. Right. So, what about who are you looking forward to? Give us I don't know. Let's go for a few from the division. So first, give us maybe a bumper and then a novice hurdler. You got any sort of bumper horses? In fact, I'm not going to go into those because everyone's put 1,000 to follow this year. So maybe give us a few hurdlers and chasers, novice chasers or open company, whatever. I know you mentioned El Fabiolo, but
yeah, look, I think coming from the novice ranks, El Fabiolo is the one. There's a few. Look, I'm yet to get really stuck into stuff. I would admit. The bump I would leave till quite a way into the season, and the likes of a Triumph, I wouldn't even look to like an Adonis or whatever that area is, the Dovecote and that meeting at Kempton. Like I leave that one quite late.
They're all in England, mate. You don't have to worry about any of those trials. The winner of the Triumph isn't going to be based here, is he?
But, no. Look, I just don't get stuck into them. Triumph's not a race I like. I feel like the horses struggle to then go on to stuff because they're young and like 4-year-olds and stuff. And I think they just struggle to then bridge that gap at 5. And it's not really a race I'd get stuck in, and especially not the bumper. Look, off the top of my head, I can't.
All right. So forget about Cheltenham altogether. obviously next 3, 4, 5 months or whatever, is there any hurdler or chaser, doesn't matter whether open company or if they're a novice, who are you looking forward to coming back out?
Can I say constitutional? Look, I want,
yeah, of course
because
you can,
the
mate.
reason
At
is,
the end of the day, people complain it's not about price, is it? It's about what you get to see, especially you,
yeah.
because if he goes up to the fighting fifth again, then it's going to be a sellout and everyone's going to be there because you're there to see a horse, aren't you? At the end of the day, it's not always about betting.
Well, funny enough, so I was going to mention, because I think Shishkin should run in the rehearsal chase on the same day as Constitution Hill and the fighting fifth. So Lahom Press done it last season, carried top weight in that. I think they should put them
is that?
3 mile.
What?
So
Okay, yeah.
I think, instead of look, it could be a stepping stone. I don't know if there'll be that much of a gap to then the King George, because I presume that's the route he'll go down. But I was thinking of the options, and I don't know if he'll go to Weatherby and stuff. A Brave Man's Game will probably go there, and it'll be good, maybe to see him. Lahom Press done it easily last season and carried the top weight, and I think he's that classy. He can do the same, and hopefully maybe he's on the same truck as Constitution Hill, and I get to see them both. But yeah, I think Constitution Hill, the thing I want to see the most is in Perry Pass, see what he can do, and if he can be a true challenger to, one of the hurdling greats probably in Constitution Hill. He's mullered them all last season. I think he'll go on to win this season again, but he's very impressive, and I just want to see what Imperi Pass could do and challenge him. So be an interesting division. It's more interesting now that Willie has declared him to take on the challenge, I would have said.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree, and I do think that it is hard because you don't want to get too stuck into all of these horses, and then you start picking them out, and then they come up, and there is 3 of them in the same race, or you get one, you feel like you've automatically got to back it. So, like you say, I haven't dived as heavy as but the next 10 days, obviously coming up to Chepstow, it's time to start getting involved, isn't it?
Yeah, no, look, you've got the first meeting there at Cheltenham as well, and get on to next month. You've Hennessy or Coral Gold Cup or whatever it's called now. Like I say, the likes of the fighting fifths. There's the Down Royal meeting, which Gordon targets a lot. He's been a bit out of form this season so far in the last few weeks, but I think he'll be all guns blazing in a few weeks. And yeah, look, there's plenty to get stuck into, and like I say, I would just take them concessions to win them races and then to go on to win the festival. If you're having an anti-post bet, try and get them extra extra value, I would have said.
Well, you feel like a winner anyway, don't you? Because obviously if it wins at 1 to 4, you've not risked your money directly at that, but and then it keeps you warm over the winter on at a decent price.
Yeah.
So have you got any plans going racing over the next few months? Or
look, I try and go racing all the time, to be honest. Like I say, I was at Newcastle Monday, then I was at Sedgefield Tuesday, and look, as much as I could get done, I have plenty of work on, so it's just trying to fit it in. I'd love to go.
We were just checking. We were just waiting for someone to say, "Does he actually work?" So it's good to hear you do work as well.
I do. Sadly, I do events. I run different events, and funnily enough, like race nights and all them different stuff, charity events, and that's kind of me bread and butter. But then the racing side, I do the blogs and I do all the the YouTube and different stuff, and this is me passion, and hopefully I can I make it pay as well. That's the difference. I don't go above my means, but I make it also pay. So this provides me good pocket money, I would have said.
Yeah, good pocket money towards your trips and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's great, Lee. Obviously, I don't want to keep too much of your time. So, obviously, we've covered a load of bets. I'm not going to ask you for any further bets at the moment because the racing is quiet. I went on Odds Checker earlier, and there isn't too much on the National Hunt front. And I know you're completely done with the flat. Have you got any sort of if there's someone like, say, I don't know, a 10 years or 15 years younger version of you looking to try and be doing similar, like as you've just said, you are getting paid for certain aspects of what you do in racing. Is there any advice you could give to people or anything they should be doing?
So if they were 15 years younger, they'd be about 8 or so. Is that...
yeah, that's it, mate.
No, look, my biggest saying, and it goes in life as well, and I always tell my friend this, and you know, when I'm speaking about all the time, I say, just do you. That is my best saying, because in whatever you do in life, just do yourself. Like, you don't have to worry about other people. They're not paying your bills. Like, unless they're paying your bills, then you can say
Then
something.
you worry.
Yes, look, don't start having to go at your boss and stuff. But you know, just do yourself. And when it comes to racing, and especially, look, if you like the flat, if you like the jumps, stick to whatever you like. You don't have to worry about other people. There's plenty of people get you know, crabby on Twitter and stuff like that. Just look, don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Just concentrate on yourself. And that's when it comes to betting as well, I would say, is just you know, focus on your own bets and what you fancy. Don't be strayed from, you know, having a good bet on the price as well. You know, if you're going to have a 10 on a 2-1, have it on a 10-1 as well, and stuff like that. But don't be swayed by other people. Look, there's plenty of people follow me. I get plenty of messages, and I appreciate everyone's support. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what you fancy. You know, sometimes I pick two in a race, you know, and I cover myself. But that's the way I like to bet. If people choose to follow, you know, great, and hopefully I can win people some money. But at the end of the day, it's how you bet yourself, and just do you, is my saying.
So obviously, just touching on that, what you're saying is you're a punter first, then presenter / blogger and all the works second.
Yeah, exactly that. Look, I just put up my tips, and the you know, the two lads, they are sports journalists who I do the Only Fools of Horses with. They're great lads, and they help me immensely, to be honest. You know, I struggle sometimes with me anxiety and different stuff. They allow me to take a break from that, and I just do my own thing, and they give me that space. So I do appreciate the two lads, but they do stuff in a different way. They like a good bet, and they like to put their tips up, but they're also you know, going down the presenting route and stuff like that, and that we're following. So Ash Simmons, Harry Beard, there's the shout out for the lads. But yeah, on the Only Fools of Horses side of it, I just put up what I fancy, and the same on me. On the Saturday, we cover the ITV racing, and I put up what I fancy, and I just do my own bets and try not get influenced by other people. Also, you know, there's plenty of tipsters out there, and there's plenty of you know, newspaper columns and all this stuff. I would say don't sway from your own opinion. If you fancy one, just stick with your guns and just do you.
Yeah. And we've sensed that. Obviously, you're quite a strong character, Lee. So just finally, obviously, I've took a fair bit of your time. So you've just mentioned obviously Harry and Ash. So if you can just, obviously you're dropping the names, but can you tell obviously viewers where can they find yourself, where can they find your bets, and also with regard to YouTube and everywhere, because people need the full thing. So if they're not on Twitter, then they know where to find you, and obviously the boys over at Only Fools of Horses.
Yeah, we are Only Fools of Horses. So it's OLFH Racing on Twitter. That will give our link as well. There's the link to our YouTube channel. So Only Fools of Horses on YouTube. We do a weekly video on there. We do it on a Tuesday night. It goes out on a Wednesday morning. And on Twitter is where I post my selections. So every Saturday I'll post the selections and also the big meeting. So during the week, unless I fancy something strongly, Monday and Tuesday, that's not my bag. So I'm trying to stick to the Saturday and Sundays. And so it's at RacingLee1, which is written on there. And go and follow me on Twitter for all my selections. So look, Peter, I appreciate your time, and thanks for having us on the first one anyway.
Yeah, and obviously, just one more thing. What about, obviously, you're doing something with Spaces coming up soon?
Yes, I am. Yeah, good plug. Thank you. Yeah, so we're starting a new one. So we'll do a Saturday morning space on Twitter. We were actually, I don't mean to brag, but we were the first racing one to do it, and we've been doing that a couple of years now on a Saturday morning with me and the lads Ash and Harry, and we'll talk about the Saturday racing. But on a Sunday night, starting on the 15th, so it's the day after the Chepstow meeting, we've got Johnny Deneen on, so a special guest. We're going to have a guest on every week. We're going to go through and review the week gone by, the effects it has on anti-post marking. So whether it's Tingle Creek or whatever it is, not just focus on Cheltenham, but the effects it has on an anti-post market, and get to know I guess we'll have on how they punt as well. But yeah, Johnny Deneen is the first one, the legendary
Good old Johnny.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
I don't mean to kiss horse, right? But I absolutely love the bloke. You
No,
know
I
what?
don't.
He
I don't think
gives so
anyone's made
much
a bigger
time.
racing. Yeah, I don't think anyone's made a bigger impact on racing, considering he probably
Yeah.
doesn't know too much about social media in 12 months than Johnny Deneen.
Oh, he's a great. You know what? He gives so much time to me and the lads from day one. He's give plenty of time. He's so generous with it to everybody. Look, anybody could go and talk to him at the races, and they could speak to him, and he'd give plenty of time. He's a lovely person, but he's very knowledgeable. He's got the background in the bookmaking, but he loves the punt as well. So that's why I love him as well. But just a really nice bloke, and I'm really looking forward to having him on. So that's the 15th on Twitter. It's a Twitter space. So that'll post it on the Only Fools of Horses page, Pete.
Perfect. Right, so thanks very much, Lee, for your time. And the only thing I'm just going to finish on is the fact, as Lee's number one point was, just do you. So obviously we've spoken a lot about betting and stakes, and some people bet big, some people bet small. At the end of the day, whether you follow tipsters or whether you bet for yourself, just do yourself. Don't worry about what other people's bet slips are. Don't worry about how much other people are winning. Yeah, it's all about, I'm big on the whole responsible gambling for people. You don't know people's situations. So don't worry if your biggest bet of the day and it wins, and someone else has had a lot more money, when they lose, they'll lose a lot more money. So worry about no one else and just worry about yourself. So thank you very much, Lee.
Exactly that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lee, and cheers for your time.
Cheers,
Goodbye.
Pete. Thank you, mate.
Cheers.